Jadon Sancho. Now, just after we came off air a couple of weeks ago, after the game against Arsenal, Erik ten Hag came out and said Sancho wasn't in the squad because he hadn't trained well enough. Well, Sancho on social media straight away came back and said that wasn't true. He trained well and that he'd been used as a scapegoat. Since then, he now trains by himself. Yesterday, the manager, Ten Hag couldn't guarantee we'd ever see him in a United shirt again. And according to reports, Sancho has refused to apologise. Are you OK with how Erik ten Hag has dealt with this? I
am, yes. I do believe that player power has got so big these days that managers are in a very difficult situation. I think it's too simplistic to say if Sir Alex Ferguson was at the club that you would be in a different position, because the way that the authority at the club has been eroded away over the years since Sir Alex left, the player power's got bigger as well. So constantly you've got the players getting stronger with their agents and their ability to be able to say, I'm not going to do this, I'm not going to do that. So I think that the stance he's taken, he's kind of said that the club have mentioned it when he got interviewed back in the day, and that he's got to put discipline back in a club. And I think it's the right stance. I don't think the outcome is going to be very good for the player. I think on this one, I think he will stand really tough with him, and I think that's the right thing to do. And it goes back to when we were playing, and it's not to say that that's the old days. I think I respect the fact that I've got somebody I've got to answer to, being the manager or the club. I think players now have lost that a little bit with how much power they've got. Where
do you stand on it, Rob?
Yeah, a little different to that. I think our day is our day. It's a long time ago now. What I would say is that we know that Jadon Sancho has had history with a little bit of mental health issues. He's been away to work on his mental fitness, I think, described by the football club. So I don't think it was the right thing for Erik ten Hag to say publicly why he's not in the squad. And basically, you know, he's having a go at his professionalism with his training, which is right or wrongly, he might be a bad pro. But in this circumstance, I don't think that it was the right thing to do. Look what's happened. Look what's happened now. I don't like the reaction from Jadon Sancho. I'm not sure who's advising him. Maybe he's a little immature as an instant reaction for a social media tweet that wasn't good. But I just think, given what we're seeing now, not apologising, training on his own, it hasn't worked. Whatever, if it was the last throw of the dice to try and get him to play better, to train better, it hasn't worked.
The thing is with that though, Robbie, he's got the team to look after. He's not just got Jadon Sancho, he's got all the other players to look after. So at some point you have to make a stance and say that behaviour. I know whether he's mentally
it's just publicly.
Yeah, but the point is, we don't know what's gone on before this. There might have been a load of private stuff gone on before, and he's going, where am I going to go with this? How do I solve the situation? I've got to put him to one side and say the team's more important, and the team will always be more important, and then make a stand saying, no, that's not acceptable, and we have to deal with it when this game... They've got games to play, they've got matches to win, and that's what he's concentrating on. I think there's more gone on behind the scenes than we're seeing now.
Yeah, I just... You know, he's got games coming up. He needs all the wingers he can get. And now, Jadon Sancho, what's going to happen? Maybe that's what they wanted, Rebecca. Maybe he wanted this confrontation. Let's bring it to a head. He hasn't got a future here. He hasn't done particularly well. And this is a way of trying to accelerate that.
Well, Erik ten Hag yesterday did say, you know, these things don't happen just once. It's not, as you say, not just one thing before we get to this stage. Just very quickly, do you think we'll see Sancho in a United shirt again?
Possibly not.
Rob?
I do, given the games coming up and the lack of players, and surely they've got to find a way to get him back in the squad and playing again.
Yeah, so Anthony is not in the squad and we don't know when he'll be back. That's what Ten Hag said yesterday. And Sancho training by himself and at the moment unavailable to play against Brighton. Hi there, I'm Rebecca Lowe, studio host for NBC's coverage of the Premier League. Don't forget to hit subscribe to watch more videos all season long. And for even more Premier League content, from original series to live matches, head over to Peacock. And be sure to tune in for Premier League mornings every weekend on USA Network and on Peacock. We will see you there.